Hi everybody, here is Fabio bringing you the state of Holy Paladin in Battle for Azeroth Alpha. We just had a new talent setup that came out a couple of days ago in the Alpha. So this video is to cover that. That is the big thing, the big news that we have about the Holy Paladin. So let's get right into it and see what it has been changed and what it has been moved around. So you can see on the screen already, on the left you have the new talent setup that we have on the Alpha build, and on the right of the screen you have the Legion version of our talent panel, our talent options. So let's see, and we will start seeing what we have moved around. So Judgment of Blight, it was previously on the row 90 and now it is on row 75. It replaces Divine Purpose because Divine Purpose from row 75 has been moved to row 100. These two talents have not changed, they are basically the same. The only difference is that the healing power of Judgment of Light has been nerfed a little bit. I believe that the thought process behind it is that Judgment of Light is very easy, is almost a passive talent. You know, you just have to remember to judge the target in order to heal, and it was not a high skill cap, so this is why probably Blizzard was not happy for this talent to being that powerful. That was more powerful than Sanctified Wrath in Legion most of the times. So this is why I think that it has been nerfed a little bit. So we see, let's analyze the row 75, how it is in Battle for Azeroth. We have Judgment of Light, Holy Avenger and Holy Prison. Now, Holy Avenger and Holy Prison basically stayed absolutely the same. So for the current state in raid, most likely you will end up using Holy Avenger. Most likely this will be the talent with the highest throughput of the three. Honestly, I would love to see a buff in the power of Holy Prison. I remember in the time of Warlords of Draenor when it was quite powerful and it was the go-to choice that I had some fun using it. It was well, an extra ability to use, and it is fun in my opinion because you can use it on the boss to heal the raid, or you can use it on your tank to do some damage in Mythic Plus. So I hope for this talent to receive a buff and being able to use it again, at least once in a while, also in Battle for Azeroth. Let's see how it is now in row 90, because in row 90 is where we have the two new talents that came in. All the rest, all 75 and 100 rows have the same talent that we had in Legion. So Sanctified Wrath is absolutely the same of Legion. Avenging Wrath lasts 25% longer and also reduces Holy Shock's cooldown by 50% for its duration. So this is obviously very strong where you have a long period of high damage. This talent was taken most of all in High Mythic Plus, where you had this need of huge power, of huge healing potential, quite frequently and for a long period of time if you have a big pool of mobs. A new talent that came in is Avenging Crusader, and here the text of this talent is amazing. You become the ultimate Crusader of Light. I love it. You become the ultimate Crusader of Light, increasing your Crusader strike, judgment, out-attack and out-attack damage by 30%. Crusader strike and judgment cooldown 30% faster, and when you deal damage to with those abilities, free injured ally will be healed for 170% of the damage dealt. So, well, this is an interesting talent. It sounds fun, but most likely this will be a damage talent because it increases significantly your damage. So I don't think that the healing potential of this talent will be able to compete with the other two, because otherwise it will be OP, you know. More damage and also more healing than the other two talents? Quite unlikely. Most likely this will remain a damage talent. And a damage, when do you take a damage talent? Probably in mythic classes, in low mythic classes. So it sounds fun. I don't think that this will see much play in raid or in high mythic classes. I might be wrong, but yeah, this is probably how it's gonna go. The second new talent is Awakening. Light of Dawn has a 15% chance to grant you Avenging Wrath for 10 seconds. So this is very interesting. Again, it's quite a random proc. It's aligned with the new legendaries that we had for the healers in Legion, in late Legion. And it is a talent, an ability of legendary that came into a talent. It sounds quite powerful, especially in fights where you have quite consistent damage, where this proc will not be wasted because there is always some damage coming in. This sounds very good, because Light of Dawn, you will be in raid most likely using a Light of Dawn quite regularly. So and it has a nice interaction with, if you have I don't know, Azeroth trait that will empower Light of Dawn, or it will make it cool down a little bit faster, this will be even better. So my thinking is that this talent will probably be our cookie cutter, our go-to for raid setup. Sanctified Wrath will be probably most likely used in mythic classes, in high mythic classes, and Avenging Crusader in low mythic classes. Let's see row 100. We have Beacon of Faith and Beacon of Virtue that have not changed, but we have Divine Purpose on this row, and Divine Purpose is the same Divine Purpose that we had before in Legion. Light of Dawn and Holy Shock have a 50% chance to not start their cooldown and make their next cast free. So row 100, we are losing Beacon of Lightbringer. It was not very much used at all during Legion. I had a friend of mine, a Paladin, riding with me that was using Beacon of the Lightbringer once in a while, but mostly because we had 2 Holy Paladins in most of the mythic progression, so their healing through the beacon was in a good portion over healing, because we had 2 Holy Paladin with 2 Beacon of Faith. So you understand why sometime he decided to use Beacon of the Lightbringer, just try to reduce the overhealing that he was putting out. But in general, you know, in a raid, 90% of the time it's Beacon of Faith throughout Legion and throughout Warlords of Draenor. You know that from Warlords of Draenor to Legion, Beacon of Faith was nerfed a little bit to try to compete with the other talents. It has not been enough, even if the design of Beacon of the Lightbringer was interesting. Beacon of Faith ended up dominating the tier for the whole Legion. So they moved Divine Purpose, that was part of the cookie cutter build, for the raid setup to row 100, in order to try to have these 2 talents to compete to each other, because the base thinking of Blizzard is, let's try to have the talents more aligned to one another, let's remove the dead talent and let's throw in some new ideas, some new talent that might spark new mechanics that might be fun for the spec and bring new things to manage. So I agree, I think it makes totally sense. It will be interesting to see if Divine Purpose will compete with the Beacon of Faith in a raid environment. My prediction is that no. Most likely you will end up using Beacon of Faith throughout Warlords of Draenor, throughout Battles for Azeroth, because Holy Paladin currently they are still the only tank killer in the game, so a Beacon of Faith will be very much important. So let's see what will change in Battle for Azeroth with this new talent setup? Previously, we had Divine Purpose, Judgment of Light, and Beacon of Faith. This was the go-to talents for Legion. In the newer setup, we will probably have, it's not sure, the math is not there yet, and some talent could be buffed or nerfed, but currently this will be the most likely setup. Holy Avenger, Awakening, and Beacon of Faith. So in general, this change doesn't change much the tools of the Holy Paladin. This will not hurt very much their capabilities if we compare the previous talent setup and the new talent setup. So no big changes, just new things to manage. The most interesting thing, in my opinion, it will be the competition between the Awakening and Sanctified Wrath, because in certain fight where there is constant damage, you will probably take Awakening. In fight where there are phases of no damage at all or very little damage, and other phases with huge burst of damage, you will end up using Sanctified Wrath. So I believe that there we will see some swapping talent. For the rest here at row 75, it will be most likely a math. You know, when they figure out the math and they tell us what is the best talent of the three, we will keep using that in every fight throughout Battle for Azeroth. There are no situation that will tell us that to change for any reason. And finally, let's take a moment to review what is the current state of the Holy Paladin in general. Well, let's remember that we have lost all the legendaries and we have lost our artifact weapon. So this will hurt significantly the Holy Paladin burst potential. Especially the legendary ring will not be present in Battle for Azeroth. So the Holy Bomb is gone, and the Holy Paladin will be a little less bursty than before, even if Hour of Sacrifice most likely will remain the king of the row 60. In general, Holy Paladin are in a very good shape anyway, because they are still the only tank healer in the game, and that alone will make them mandatory for any mythic progression throughout Battle for Azeroth. But let's review also the other utilities that the Holy Paladin will have. Obviously, as you know, utilities are very important when we value the power, the importance of a healer. So Holy Paladin has an immunity. It has Hand of Freedom, it has Blessing of Protection, it has the best tank cooldown in the game, well, not the best, but one of the best, and it is the only tank healer. It does not have mobility, but you know, it has many other things. So I think that Holy Paladin is in a very good shape. And another interesting thing to note is that Blizzard seem to be happy with the state of Holy Paladin in general as mechanic, as gameplay. You know that going from Warlords of Draenor to Legion, the Holy Paladin went through a major overhaul of the mechanics with the new mastery, and it seems that Blizzard is happy with that, and I agree. I mean, I was playing Holy Paladin in Warlords of Draenor together with my Disc Priest, and Holy Paladin was quite boring in my opinion in Warlords of Draenor, and it is much more fun and much more complicated in Legion in my opinion, especially for the mastery. It's very interesting that you have to be in the thick of a fight, and sometimes, especially in Mythic Plus, this adds some skill into it, but also in the raid, also with the Light of Dawn, with a weird shape. It's something that you have to master. So I'm happy that Blizzard is happy with the configuration of the Holy Paladin in Legion, and it stays throughout Battle for Azeroth. As you've seen, no major changes, so you can sleep well and be a happy Holy Paladin. So let me know what you think, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!